Hari Greetings, everybody. That was a song invoking all the guiding spirits, all the beloved friends and angels and helpers to join us in this practice of Kirtan. I was singing Siyaram Ame Sabajagajani. That means I see Sita, the infinite goddess, the divine beloved of the universe. And I see Ram, the all-pervading, unmanifest source of all creation. In every face I see, in every pair of eyes I look into, I see Sita and I see Ram. So therefore I say Namaste, I say hi, I say welcome to you all, welcome to Sita, welcome to Ram. And I sang Om Guru, Om Guru. I was asking my Guru and the universal Guru principle, that energy that guides us all to the light. I was asking that Guru to come sing through me, sing through all of us, to teach us and take us to the light. Many centuries ago in India, great beings who were called rishis or knowers developed systems to bring the human being into direct contact with higher planes of existence, as well as to bring them into harmony with this plane of existence, with their own bodies, own minds, own lives. And these systems were called yoga. There were practices to harmonize the energies of the body, to become more in tune with nature, the natural forces, and to calm the mind, and to tune the mind, and to focus the breath. And most of these practices have been lost. Nowadays, people think of yoga as a system of exercises, but it was much more than that. The yogis of old recognized that one of the big components of a human being is the heart, the center of emotions. We can tune our body like crazy, we can become super smart, but what about the emotions? They seem to rise and fall, they seem to go like waves of the sea. We never know what's going to happen with our emotions. We try to control them, we try to suppress them. But the yogis, those old yogis, knew that that wasn't really the way. They knew that these emotions were a crucial part of bringing the human being to divine consciousness. They knew that these emotions were not a mistake. And they said, rather than getting rid of them, use these emotions. These are your fuel, these are your energy. This is what God gave you to speak to God. And they created Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti is usually defined as devotion, but I think that in the West we have a very narrow vision of what that means. Devotion to us is usually submission and subservience, But in India, where this tradition comes from, the word bhakti, I would say it would be more accurate to define it as relationship, as one's relationship with the divine, one's relationship with one's soul, one's relationship with the infinite universe. And all the emotions that come into play in that relationship are perfectly valid emotions to be utilized in Bhakti Yoga. You know, when we're in love with somebody, love is not a monochromatic feeling. For those of us who've ever been in love, we know that there's so many colors, there's so many shades. We have passion, we have fear, a lot of fear in love. We have jealousy, we have desire, we have lust, we have longing, we have ecstasy, and we have the absolute bliss of that moment when the individual self dissolves into the great oneness. All those are sides of love. So in Bhakti Yoga, we embrace the full spectrum of emotions. And there's many practices in Bhakti. The yogis of old, their thinking was so big. There was no limitations. There was no tunnel vision in what they taught. They said, you can dance with God. You can make food for God. You can make love with God. You can write poetry to God. You can paint pictures to God, paint pictures of God. And who is God anyway but the entire manifest creation? But most of all, or maybe best of all, you can sing to God. And that's where Kirtan came from, which is what you'll be hearing on this album and what we'll be doing together as you listen to the CD. Kirtan is the repetition of the many, many names of God, the many, many names of the goddess. In Hinduism, which is the tradition that this practice comes from, all the names are considered powerful, powerful mantras, ancient tools to unlock that mysterious, unknown canyon of feelings within. And it almost doesn't matter which name we chant, which mantra we sing. It's all a vessel for our unspoken prayers to sail into the river, to the source of the river, to the divine, infinite, cosmic source. So Kirtan has been practiced for ages and ages and ages. I imagine that over the centuries the music has changed. A lot of what I do has very modern music. And yet the mantras, the words that I sing, are words that have been sung for centuries and centuries and centuries by people calling for God, by people laughing in ecstasy, by people crying in despair, by people just sitting and patiently saying God's name over and over and over again to create a connection from their own heart to that great, great heart. Most of us are not used to singing. Most of us are self-conscious about singing. Most of us are very inhibited about singing. And likewise, most of us don't really know how to express our emotions. We have a limited range that's permitted in our lives that we've been conditioned to feel comfortable with. But wow, we have so much inside of us. And the more that we express, the more that we open up, the more that we release, the richer our lives are, the richer our hearts are. And singing is such an amazing tool for unlocking the emotions. It seems that the singing voice, enriched with a full breath, directly touches that well of emotions inside. And we sing, first we're a little shy, usually. I feel a little shy almost every time I sing at first. And then you get into it, and gradually the window opens, the window of feelings, the window of the heart opens and opens and opens. And the more we can give up our inhibitions, the more we can give up our self-judgment, worrying about what we sound like, the deeper and more profound the experience can be. For some of us, this practice of Kirtan is going to seem very strange and very new and very exotic. And I just would like to invite everybody to try it, to make an experiment, and put the analytical mind outside for a minute, if possible. And you just sing a little bit. The most important thing is not to critique your experience. Whatever we're feeling is absolutely valid, is absolutely perfect. Sometimes I put my hand on my heart, and I can feel the vibration that my voice makes on the heart center. And as I put my hand there and feel the energy there, it it wakes up a little bit more, and I sing a little bit more, and I sing outward, and at the same time I sing inward, very softly into that place, into that great, great ocean of divine feelings that's inside of me. And when I say divine feelings, I mean all feelings, human, divine, human, divine. Why do we conceive that there's a difference?